It's hard to believe that just close to 12 months ago, we were preparing for the 2023 Auto Expo and the start of the 2023 automotive circus. Well, here we are, roughly about 12 months later, and for the start of the 2024 automotive circus, and there's a lot coming to India. Today, we're looking at one of the fastest growing segments for almost a decade now. Yes, we're talking about SUV, and here is a complete list of what's coming in 2024. Let's go brand by brand. Before we get into all the SUVs that are coming in 2024, here's a reminder. Are you enjoying the content on our channel? Then do hit those like, share and subscribe buttons, and also that bell icon to be notified the instant we put out a new video. Let's start our upcoming SUVs with the king of the hill. Yes, we're talking about Maruti Suzuki, and this is going to be an important one for them. The EVX that was shown at the 2023 Auto Expo was the initial design prototype, while the EVX that was shown at the 2023 Japanese Mobility Show had a more production-ready design and also showcased the interiors for the first time. This will be a very important car for Maruti Suzuki, as this is their first ever BEV. They're a bit late to the game, but here nonetheless. The car is expected to be officially unveiled in production guides towards the end of the year and will be produced at their Gujarat plant for almost the entire world. It's expected to have a range of around 500 kilometers, and from glimpses of the interiors, you can see many familiar Maruti elements but brought up to a modern level. What's more, while the EVX will be Maruti's first BEV, the EVX will also spawn a Toyota version, which we'll talk about later in the video. From Japan, we take a small skip across the sea to South Korea and to Hyundai. Hyundai is expected to bring 3 cars to India in 2024. They are expected to be the Creta, the Tucson Facelift and the all-new Santa Fe. Oh, and there's a little surprise at the bottom of this section. Now, most important car for Hyundai will be a Creta Facelift. Launched in 2020, the second generation Creta has been selling excellently, and this update arrives at the right time just as the entire segment is about to go for an overhaul. If we look at what the Creta's sister car, the Seltos, has got, we can see things like level 2 ADAS, multi-zone climate control, powered front seats, ventilated seats, as well as a whole host of safety options. Now, Hyundai being one of the first manufacturers to offer 6 airbags across the range. In terms of exterior design, we expect the parametric dual grille to be dominating the face of the Creta, while of course it will retain its current silhouette, and because this is a Hyundai, you'll get a connected light bar at the back. It's expected to continue with its current crop of engine options, but there's also a possibility of an EV coming along and a hybrid as well for the Indian market. The Creta will of course be produced for majority of the world at Hyundai's Chennai plant. Next up on Hyundai's list will be an update for the Tucson. Now, we know that the Tucson that's sold in India just came along recently, about just a little over a year ago. But globally, this model has been around for quite a bit and has got some updates. The parametric dual grille has been slightly updated. You get a new design for the alloy wheels, and inside, the infotainment system and the digital cluster have been integrated into one big unit. The feature list on the current Tucson is pretty comprehensive, so we don't see many upgrades in that regard, and we expect that it will continue with the 2-liter diesel and 2-liter petrol. The Tucson kind of sits in a unique price bracket, but will do well for itself in terms of bringing volumes for Hyundai. Finally, on Hyundai's list for 2024 will be a new flagship vehicle. Yes, we're talking about the all-new Santa Fe that was unveiled towards the end of last year, and will be Hyundai's foray into rivaling cars like the BMW X3, Mercedes-Benz GLC and the Audi Q5. It's expected to be a tech-laden and feature-driven vehicle, and will be for those who want an aspirational Hyundai. Hyundai has been here for a while now and has buyers across a range, people that have seen Hyundai's cars globally, and this, when it is launched in India, will be the statement piece, one that people want to aspire to own. This will be the big league for Hyundai and should be a test of how good things can go when they move up the price bracket. We continue in South Korea, and now it's the turn of Kia. Topping Kia's list will be the new Kia Sonet. It was unveiled recently and is expected to be launched in January. It will be offered across 3 trim levels with 3 engine options and 4 transmission options. The Kia Sonet didn't really need much of an update, but given how competitive the segment has become, Kia has had to up its game to continue its position. The Kia Sonet will be an important rival for the likes of the Tata Nexon, Maruti Brezza, and of course its sister car, the Hyundai Venue. From the entry-level SUV model, we moved to Kia's flagship ICE vehicle, which will be an all-new Carnival that was unveiled in South Korea at the end of November. The all-new Carnival sports a new design, moving from the MPV-like shape to an SUV-like shape with an all-new interiors. The Kia Carnival will come to India, say around mid-2024, and will only be offered here with the 2.2-litre diesel and an 8-speed automatic transmission. We expect both the 7 and 9 seats layout to be offered, as well as the top-spec high limousine. Topping the list of launches for Kia will be the EV9 electric SUV. It's expected to come around mid-2024 and will be Kia's new flagship vehicle. This will also be the first electric 3-row vehicle. We expect Kia to offer it both in 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive guise, as well as 6-seat and 7-seat layouts. From flagship ICE model, it's expected to have a range of around 400 to 500 kilometers and will be in the 90 lakh rupee price range. This will be the first time that Kia will be bringing a CBU to India, and this car is expected to be Kia's statement piece for what you can expect from them in the future. Toyota's focus for 2024 is expected to be on the budget side of things, and they'll be bringing quite an important car in the form of the urban cruiser Tazor, if it's going to be called that. This is essentially a rebadge version of the Maruti Suzuki Fronx and is expected to have the same feature list, same engine options, same layout, but with a slightly different top hat to separate both the cars. The urban cruiser Tazor will be an important car for Toyota, as it's not had a presence in the very competitive sub-4 meter SUV segment since the discontinuation of the urban cruiser in 2022. This car will of course take on the likes of the Tata Nexon, the Hyundai Venue, the Maruti Brezza, the Maruti Fronx, and of course the Mahindra XUV 300, which is also due for an update and will come later in the video. The second product from Toyota that we expect in 2024 will be the production version of its urban SUV concept. This is essentially Toyota's version of the Maruti EVX and will be produced by Maruti at the Gujarat plant for Toyota. It's expected to wear a different top hat, as is evident in the concept form pictures, but will essentially be the same underneath, as it has the same dimensions, expected to have the same interiors, and will be offered with the same powertrains, which when Maruti had revealed the car said that it would have a range of around 450 to 500 kilometers. This will be Toyota's entry into the very competitive D-electric SUV segment, currently dominated by vehicles like the XUV 400 and the Tata Nexon EV. From Toyota, we move to Tata, currently India's largest and most successful EV manufacturer. And the first vehicle off the list will of course be the Curvv and Curvv EV that are both expected to arrive within a few months of each other. The Curvv and the Curvv EV are expected to have the same design, roughly the same interiors, adjusting for one being an electric vehicle, but the Curvv will come with a 1.2-litre GDI turbo petrol, while the Curvv EV is expected to come with a powertrain setup that will give it around 150 bhp and a range of around 450 to 500 kilometers, very similar to what is offered on the long-range Tata Nexon EV. Now, the car that was shown at the Auto Expo had a lot of new elements like a new climate control system, new steering, digital instrument cluster, all of which have made their way onto the Tata Safari facelift, Tata Harrier facelift, and of course the Tata Nexon facelift. All these elements are expected to come together for both cars, and the Tata Curvv will be one of the two coupe SUV vehicles that's expected to arrive in the segment in 2024. Tata's smallest ICE vehicle will join its EV ranks in the form of a Punch EV. While Tata has not officially said anything about the Punch EV, it's been spotted testing quite a few times, giving us an indication of what you can expect from the car. We expect that it will share most of its powertrain with the Tigor and Tiago EV, but retain all the essence that makes the Punch a successful car. This includes the exterior design, the cabin layout, as well as the feature list. The Punch EV, whenever it is launched in 2024, will be the fourth vehicle in the sub 10 lakh rupee EV segment and will take on the likes of the MG Comet EV, the Tata Tiago EV, the Citroën EC3 and the Tata Tigor EV. If you look at it, this is a segment completely dominated by Tata, and just adding one more vehicle to their list, especially one that has an SUV body style, is going to make a huge difference to their volumes. Over the last two auto expos, Tata had got Generation Y completely excited by showing two different iterations of the Sierra EV. Now we know it's coming in 2024, and the car that was shown at the 23 Expo is indicative of how much of production ready this vehicle is. It's expected to retain the same silhouette, pick up elements from the Curvv EV and of course the Harrier and Safari, but will also retain the glass roof that made the Sierra so iconic. Now, if you look at it in terms of vehicles, this will actually be Tata's third EV in this segment by the end of 2024, indicative that they are going in for a volumes rather than banking on one vehicle in the segment kind of strategy. This is of course based on the fact that this is one of the most competitive segments, and Tata would like to cover all ends of the pricing game so that it's able to set itself in place. While the Tata cars that we've spoken about so far are all things that we know or that are coming, one that took us by surprise at the 23 Expo was a Harrier EV. It has retained most of the essence of the Harrier in terms of exterior design and interior layout, but there's no word yet on powertrain or the kind of range it will offer. And of course, this Harrier EV means it will also spawn a 3-row version called the Safari EV. This has also been confirmed for 2024, and we should expect to see it by the end of the year. The Tata Harrier EV and Safari EV will be joined by a rival from Mahindra called the XUV E8. Now just one glance can tell you that this is an electric version of the XUV 700. There's no word on the powertrain, but looking at pictures you can see the same iconic silhouette of the XUV 700 as well as the interior layout and feature list. In the larger scheme of things, the XUV E8 will be the first of a series of EVs that Mahindra is launching over the next 3 to 4 years. These series of EVs consist of vehicles of different body styles and will also include an electric version for the Scorpio as well as an electric version for the Bolero, both of which were announced at Mahindra's event in South Africa this August 15th. Its EVs may be the highlight of its future journey, but 2024 will also see two major ICE vehicles from Mahindra. The first is of course the XUV 300 facelift. Now pictures tell us that it retains a similar shape but will get an updated feature list to match with what is now demanded in the segment and is expected to continue with both the petrol and diesel engines. The car is expected to arrive in the first half of 2024. The other big vehicle from Mahindra that's been anticipated for a long time is a 5-door version of the Thar. If we go by how Mahindra has done this before, it will be the same vehicle underneath as the 3-door Thar, but of course the top hat will be 4 doors. Right? And recently Mahindra had filed for 7 different name patents for this vehicle. The one that's got us most excited is of course the Thar Armada. Now those of you again that are Gen Y will know of the Armada SUV that was in India around the 1990s and has an iconic following. We hope that Mahindra will take this as a cue and kind of go with that name. The Renault-Nissan alliance will be making big strides in 2024. After having a relatively silent 22 and 23, they will be bringing their new model lineup to India, the likes of which include the new Renault Duster, an Indianized version of the Renault Jogger, both of which are big SUVs and will be 2-row and 3 rows. Now, the third generation Duster was unveiled recently and shows an iconic silhouette being retained, but with the new interiors and new powertrain options. For the first time, there's no diesel, right? And we expect it to come to India that way. This new Renault Duster and the Indianized Jogger will also spawn two Nissan equivalents of 2-row and 3-row vehicles, though there's no word yet on the name that they will give. Nissan will of course have an upper hand in terms of premium vehicles, as it will also bring the X-Trail via the CKD route for India. This is expected to have a mid-2024 launch. From a Franco-Japanese alliance, we move to a German-Czech alliance and the Skoda VW alliance. Skoda will of course come with the new Kodiaq and the Enyaq electric vehicle, while VW will come with the new Tiguan both in 3-row and 2-row configurations, as well as the ID4 GTX. The Kodiaq and the new Tiguans will be assembled at the Skoda VW plant in Aurangabad, while the EVs are expected to arrive as CBUs and based on demand could even be locally assembled. Well, there you have our comprehensive list of all the SUVs that are coming in 2024. Have we missed anything? Do let us know in the comment section below. What do you think of each of these SUVs? Do let us know about that also in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.